Hello and welcome to another edition of Here's the Pitch, sponsored by Masses Restaurants in St. Louis, 5 locations. stlmasses.com is their website. You can find all the menus and directions. Again, as I say, every time we do a Stern-related or comedian or someone who's been through town and you're watching this from out of town, drive through St. Louis, put on a mask, go to Masses. And today, someone who's, I think, has played the funny bone or I'm trying to think Helium. I don't know if he's been to Helium, but it's the Reverend Bob Levy. I'm so excited to have the Reverend on. Hello, Reverend.
Thank you, brother. It's good to be on. And yeah, I definitely did stuff in St. Louis. I remember going there with Artie once, but when you go there with Artie, you really don't remember it because it's one of those, we used to have our own bottles of liquor backstage. I remember doing like a theater there, and it was amazing. The people are amazing in St. Louis. And once I get my neck surgery, I'm going to hit the road again. I'm definitely going to St. Louis because I miss it.
Yeah, let's talk. So let's just talk real quick. Touring and COVID, and it sucks. I'm sure. I mean, entertainers and people who work in restaurants, everybody's just sort of shit out of luck. But how's it been for you? I think I saw that you got something kind of put together with a few guys, either this month or next month. But just how's it been going? Have you been able to get out? Are you doing anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been real slow. So I've just been working on writing and putting together, podcasts like TV things. We just put something on Compound Media. Me and Pat Dixon did a show called Resist and Arrest, and that just came out I think the other night, and it was just fun, to get back and doing it the right way again in the studios, because this stuff is very hard to do like this. Like this is like you got to get used to this. And when you're in the studio doing radio or TV, it's so cool. It's so easy, Like this makes it harder, but it's still fun, because it's better than nothing. Because look at what's going on in the world. I mean, it's crazy out there now. I mean, there's nothing like if you're a waiter or a waitress, you are going to suffer a long time. If you're a comedian, a band, you're going to suffer a long time, and it's coming back really slow. And it really sucks, but you're happy for what you can do now and get through it.
I'll let you plug some more, but the history of Bob Levy, I read it, and it's like you weren't a comedian like one of these guys that at 15 years old or 20 years old, you said, I want to go do comedy, right? You got kind of your start a little later, and then Jackie sort of noticed you. Is that how it went?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was 26, and I was basically hung out at a bar. It was a tough bar, a tough neighborhood, and that's how Staten Island was. And my job was when people came in that we didn't know, I would bust their balls until they wanted to fight us. So that was my job. And my friend said one time, he goes, "You're pretty funny." And we listened to Howard. We would stay out all night and then listen to Howard. We'd party all night and listen to Howard when he and no, it was on, we'd sleep. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, NBC, New York. I think he came on at 3 o'clock. So we would get home at like 6 in the morning and sleep to that, listen to Howard, and then the nights would stay again. And then I met Jackie at the open mic, and he came up with the name The Reverend because the second show I ate a big dick on stage, and I didn't know what to do because I wasn't, schooled at doing comedy, so I didn't know how to change around and that stuff. And it was so uncomfortable. People wanted me dead, and Jackie comes back up and he goes, "Hey, how about a hand for the Reverend?" Because he didn't know what to say, and it just stuck. And it's a great marketing tool.
I only know two Reverends, you and Reverend Horton Heat. So I don't know if you know the psychobilly guy. Yeah, my brother loves him. Of course, the Trip Daddies do the music here for the podcast, and you can see in the description how to find stuff from them. So you do this kind of a. I think like Andrew Dice Clay was kind of the first guy to really do a filthy. I mean, Eddie Murphy did this kind of raunch. It wasn't raunchy, but it was, I guess, blue would be the word. But then Dice got raunchy, and then I kind of saw some of your stuff. Is it sort of born from that? Because there wasn't really anybody doing what Dice was doing. It was dirty, but it was also just raunchy and just kind of and fun. I mean, as a kid, I grew up and I loved it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just like I never listened to anybody. I came into comedy not knowing nothing about comedy. And I just wrote what I thought was funny. I thought the dirtiest stuff was funnier, but I learned how to work the crowds real good. So I can do everything. I did one-liners, I I hit quick and hard. And it was just like, it just worked. And I still to this day don't watch comedians. It's like, I won't even watch me. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to sit, like somebody will send a tape and go, you got to check me out. I'm really funny. And I'm like, well, just come and do a spot when I'm live. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to sit there and watch your fucking tape. Please.
I think so. I'm fairly certain the first time I heard of you was on obviously the Stern Show, but I felt like it was the world's meanest listener contest. Were you calling in before that? Because of Artie, did you know Artie at this point? Is that how you sort of got in, or was it the world's meanest listener contest on the Stern Show that kind of got you the big break?
Well, this is how I got on there. Was basically Florentine was telling Casey about this guy. You know what I mean? He does this. He's crazy. He eats blue cheese out of girls' asses on stage. And he told Howard. And I called in one day. It started off with a phone call. My first appearance on there was just a phone call. And then the meanest listener came. And I was like, I don't want to be in a contest. I'm not that. I'm a comedian. I don't want to be in a contest, a listener. It sounded down. And they're like, you got to do this. This is for you. And I was like, okay. And I sent one in, and it went over really good. And I sent like more in. I kept sending them in, and then the contest came, and you were able to pick one of them. Because I just kept sending them in, and it was just like a great experience, man. The confidence, like to be in front of that to Howard, you know what I mean? That's like God to us. You know, when you listen to somebody like that, it was like being in front of God. But then at least you had the audience in front of you to be able to not realize he was in the room because you were doing your thing. But it was really amazing. And when if it went horrible, the first time I sat in, if it went horrible, it would have been the end of it. It would have just been the contest, and that's it. And I still remember this day, Howard said after my first time I sat in, he goes, the Reverend Bob Levy, the first of many, many appearances that are going to be on the show. And it was like you were walking on the air. You know what I mean? It's like, it was the greatest thing in entertainment. At that time, it was the place to be. That's where you wanted to be. Did I want to be on a late night talk show? No. Did I want to be on this? No. I wanted to be on a Howard Stern show. I want to be on the biggest show. That's going to be where I can be myself, kind of, when we were on regular radio. I was able to do it because I've done radio with Kid Chris when, he was in, he started in Kansas City, and then he went to Philadelphia, San Antonio. I was doing his, and that's clean radio. So I was able to do it. And then, when he went to Sirius, it was just amazing from there,
The world's meanest listener contest was great, and it was you versus Yucko, two guys who just do not care about language. And back then, you guys could use more different not bad language, but you could say words you shouldn't say in 2020. But back then, it was okay. So you're doing your roast, right? I mean, you're doing Robin, and basically you call in, you did a KC roast, and those are great.
Jokes, black jokes. Like, you couldn't do them the way that we did them. Totally not. Almost anything we did, you couldn't do. But we were allowed to do it back then. But now you would never be able to do it. And it was like, it didn't really step on us that much because we knew the rules. I think Yucko messed up once when he went over it too far. And Howard said, if we have to bleep you, that's 20 seconds that you're getting dead air. So it's up to you to understand what we're doing. Plus, when it was down to me and Yucko, I said to him, I go, look, me or you are going to win this, okay? I go, it's what? It's like $25,000 in a new truck. I said, let's just split it. And he was like, okay. So that's what when it was just me and him, we knew, when it was down to me and him, we knew we were going to be there was no doubt that we were going to be the top two because we seen what it was. And I said, if we get there, we'll split it. And he was like, yeah, definitely. So I won. I gave him half the money, sold the truck. Boom, more.
Where is Yucko? I've been trying to get a hold of that guy. Where is Roger?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really, once that was over for me, you know how when things end, they just never end. They never end in a way that they should end because this is show business. This isn't friendship, really. It's friendship until a certain point. You know what I mean? And then it becomes, I can't be on his side. And that's just how it is. And I understand that. but I don't get it, but I understand it. So it's like, yeah, I'm sure he's doing good. He's doing like cartoons and shit, and that's cool.
You said you went on the road with Artie. Did you know Artie well before the show, or did you guys create a relationship from being? You said it was because of the show.
Yeah, I remember I was doing a show at Stutter and John. I was on the show maybe a couple times. Me and Artie just clicked. You know what I mean? We just clicked. I was doing a show with John. Artie came down. I remember it was in like Poughkeepsie, New York. I remember us going to the thing. We did a shot of, he did Jack Daniels. I probably did tequila. And right from there, we just hit it off. And he's like, we should work together. And I go, I know a place. And I got him a gig in Florida. And then the shows started just keep adding and adding. And instead of doing 5 shows, we were doing 8, and they kept throwing more money. And he was like shocked. And I was like, well, this is what you should be making. He goes, well, that's not what I am making. And I'm like, well, this is how you do it then. You're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? You got the talent. You got the draw. You should be getting the money. And that's what, I was able to do. And we kept raising it up to like probably 80,000 one show for a big place. And he was on a roll. You know what I mean? It's just that he had demons that I didn't even know about. I just thought he drank. I thought we were both drinking. You know what I mean? I did do coke back then. He used to yell at me saying, hey, you can't do that. That's bad. That's terrible. Like somebody would shake my hand and give it to me. And he's like, throw that out, And for me to find out he was doing heroin, I was shocked, truthfully, because I just thought he was drinking. And then, it's hard to if you can hide it that much from somebody you're with a lot, it's really weird.
You guys became really pretty tight, right? And I think when you picked him up from rehab or drove him to rehab or both.
I got him into that rehab because I was just like, look, we're doing this and this is it. I'll go with you, because I was trying to get off Xanax and that because my doctor fucked me up on them. And, I got him to agree, come down and meet the people. They wanted to take him that night, but he goes, I can't go tonight. So they worked it out. They got him, took him there. He called me and he's like, I'm getting out. I went and picked him up. Totally back to the way he was way before this. You understand? It was like, I heard it in his voice. I seen the way he was. And it was an amazing feeling to see that. And then he, there's too many people out there that would do anything to hang out with him, and they would get him high. You understand? They would do it, and that's a bad thing. And that's the hardest thing. And that's why I think him disappearing right now is the best thing. Not hearing about him, not talking to him is the best thing that can happen to him right now. It's got to be good. Because if it wasn't good, you know about it, if he was in jail. So I guarantee he's doing the best he can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so, because I was thinking you were one of the guys who spoke to him a lot, and he did just sort of disappear. He said, I'm not doing these shows, and then I think the last tweet was in April. He was putting out something about one of his podcasts, and then it's just been nothing. And we have no idea where he's at, right?
No, I mean, when he got out of rehab, the last time before he disappeared, I mean, we only text, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not just going to be texting and shit. I said, you when you want to hit me up, you hit me up. You know what I mean? I'm not a bitch. You know what I mean? It's like, we've been through a lot together. I deserve a phone call, because I'm on your side. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's weird when you have an addiction. I seen from going to rehab, from getting up to Xanax, that what happens is that they want you to get rid of anything in your life from before. And I understand that, you know what I mean? So I was okay with that. But it just happened he did it with everybody, he just disappeared. But that's good, you know what I mean? They don't want you to have a relationship for a year. They tell you so many things in there. But, I mean, the main thing is if you go to rehab, it's simple to get off something. They were like, who's not coming back? Here, and I said, I'm not. And they're like, yeah, we all thought that. I'm like, no, dude, I'm just here to get off Xanax. You understand? And that's worse than heroin or anything. And it's a simple thing because you have doctors there. It's got to be where you want to do it for you. If you want to do it for everyone else, you're never going to do it. You just never. You have to go in there and go, this is the safest place for me to get off this shit with doctors, nurses, and that stuff. And hopefully he's doing something like that, and going, therapy would help, stuff like that. And it really helps you get away from it. I get lucky because I can control an addiction, truthfully. I didn't drink for 10 years. Right now I'm having a glass of bourbon because I'll have a glass. I'm in control. I'm not a fucking lunatic anymore, but no, drugs are bad. You know what I mean? That's why, you see people fucking ruin their lives over this shit. And, but you have to be in control. That's the only way.
The Reverend Bob Levy tells everyone drugs are bad. That's good. That's a good message for the kids.
Yes. Sure.
And bourbon is good. I wish I should have some myself.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll go for an hour. I don't give a shit. I love talking about the past because it was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And it would be good to see Artie come out of this perfect, and just realize what a talent he is and how, you don't need anything for a high. You can get your own high. Truthfully, you could.
Yeah.
And that's what
Well, I always say on this, and people probably get sick of me saying it, but I think I love the Jackie era. I was a little younger, as more of a adolescent, maybe in my 20s. But when Artie started in 2001 and 2002, I just that era between that decade of him being on the show and just popping in and being funny, and then the bits he created by just being unfortunately out of it, where he's sleeping on the air and he's snoring and. Where is he?
That got bad. Yeah, that got bad for me. Like, I couldn't watch that. Like, that upset me. And that got me into arguments with people up there because I thought it was too much. You know what I mean? You got to get the guy help. So that's when I said, fuck it. You know what I mean? And I was done, and it was all little bullshit. Everybody, too many people. Like, when I first got there, it was like you dealt with Gary. Then all of a sudden, as a whole, it was Gary then Howard, Then all of a sudden it's all these people. And, you don't know if Howard's saying anything because Howard's always been good to me. So, I might have fucking got a little loud at the end and did something I shouldn't have. But I was trying to get his attention. I wasn't going to hurt him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you threatened him, right?
Well, yeah, I threatened to kill him. I had the NYPD blue at my house and suits with my cops. They lit up the street. And they just wanted to talk to me. They said the FBI is involved. This is bad, And I'm like, dude, if I wanted him dead, he'd be dead. And they're like, you can't say that. And I'm like, look, I'm just telling you. And I said it again. They're like, you can't say that, But it wasn't. It was more like people turn on you in a second. And I'm not used to that. I have friends that'll kill for me, and I will for them. So I didn't know how to deal with people, in a different way of being, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Since you told me that, I won't.
When did you, I don't remember this happening. I did some research and I saw that you threatened to kill him, but I don't remember it happening. How did this happen? When did this happen and what was the circumstances?
Well, okay, this is the whole thing. You know what I mean? Tim Sabian and Jared are the two main people, okay? Whether they want to deny it or not, I don't give a fucking shit. But don't lie to my fucking face when you see me. But the whole thing is that Tim had Jared call me up and said that I'm banned from the building because I quit because they were crying about the plugs. And I'm like, look, you gave me the plugs. So go yourself. I'll go do Opie and Anthony. And they said that, they were trying to get me to come back. And you're more than just a comedian. You're not like the other ones that go back and forth. You write, you do this, you got your own shows, And I was like, I'm sick of this shit. And I'm going to leave. And basically, they called and Jared said that I attacked 4 security guards outside. This is when I'm heavily on Xanax, 6 milligrams a day, okay? Really fucking, now I'm just like, it takes your emotions low or high. If you get angry, you get more angry than you'll ever be. It's a horrible drug. If you're calm, it makes you really calm. And then he goes, call me, he goes, I'll call you the next day. He calls me the next day and he goes, I never attacked those security guards. I liked them. We get along. I get along with everybody. And he's like, I never said that, Jared said. And my friend's sitting there that I do a podcast with. And I'm like, okay. I go, well, find out what's going on. And I'd like to talk to some. Next day, calls back and he said, we can't, security guards again. So I go on my show It's taken down. I'm sure that they all took it, all cops, But I said, I'm going to kill him and his wife. I'm going to cut them up and, and I'm playing it. And I've even talked to the detective that was not, that was his bodyguard, not Ronnie. It was the detective that would be having. And we talked on the phone once because he hit me up. He goes, Bob, I know you're in that. And I said, let me explain. I said, talk to me. And I talked to him and I said, I'm going to do exactly what I did with a knife, but I'm going to say it's an ice cream cake. And I did it. Like I was going to cut up an ice cream cake. And he goes, you're very good at this. I go, yes, I am. I go, yeah, I can have you believe what the fuck. That's what radio is. You know what I mean? That's what radio is. You think I couldn't say those words? You think, are you kidding me? As we did these words that I couldn't say, hedonism. I couldn't say that. I couldn't say any of these words. But it's what is good for the radio at that point. You know what I mean? And then you try to get away from it and move on to something else. That's what I always tried to do.
So in thinking about back, the serious shows is really where you got a chance. I can't think of anybody that he turned the show over to you during these roasts. Like he literally said, all right, Bob, take it away. And you literally now are hosting the Howard Stern show. When you think of that, think back at that and think, my God, that was some damn confidence he had in me. And it turned out great. You had Baba Booey, Artie, Ralph, and the roasts.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, because what the plan was, this was going to be a separate show. So it wasn't like a lot of pressure. We're going to tape it. We're going to cut it. You know what I mean? I get a call a day or two before, and they go, we're doing this live on the show. So now everything changes. And I'm like, guys, you got to be fucking ready because I can't, I truthfully, I couldn't see. Like I can write stuff. I can do roasts. I'm much better just going off on people than trying to read stuff. I just don't know how to do that. And I couldn't really see what I was writing. And it was early in the morning. And I was like, I don't know the morning. And I was like, this is crazy. But it was going good. The first one was Ralph. I had an order I wanted to stick with. And then they said, we have to do Daniel Carver. And I was like, no. I go, that's going to be awful because you can't get this guy going. You're not going to get him going. This is going to be the worst roast. And they're like, you have to get all black comedians. And I'm like, this is you're giving him a Christmas present. He doesn't have to do anything. He has to say one or two words back to them, which are going to be pretty rude. He's going to own them. And they're like, no, it's going to get a lot of exposure in that. And they wouldn't back down on that. We did it. It was a fucking disaster. And then I had to change I think I went to Gary next. So it's part of everything. I was going to do Sal and Richard. I love swing, like both of them together, like a love chair, and do them both together. I was going to do it. And I was going to do, I wanted to do Scott because Scott is like, you look at Scott, you got 7 things to talk. Everybody got like 7 to 10 things to fuck with him with. What do you got on Daniel Carver? You got one fucking thing. You know what I mean? That's all anyone knew about him. And nobody wanted to go. I knew from being a fan that no fans wanted to go outside of the realm of the people in the studio. And that would have been great. And it was supposed to end with Howard, it would have been Robin and Howard. And then we were going to do Fred before that. But the whole thing, I thought, when I even thought about doing Fred, I go, this is not going to be good either. He's another guy that, you just can't get him because he's a unique motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's not going to affect him in the way it should. So, it was kind of scary thinking, when we get to Fred, that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be the toughest roast besides Daniel Carver. But then we went from Gary, I believe, to Artie. And then it kind of, it kind of ran out of steam. You know what I mean? Because where do you go from there? Robin and, Howard. But then we never got to Howard.
Yeah, you guys did, though, during those roasts. Did he ever... I mean, you had a few at both... Robin got hit, I think, by Sal really hard. But just tell me, did Howard ever go, all right, let's just kind of try to keep me out of it, keep Robin out of it? Did that ever come up to you, or did anybody ever say that?
No, nobody ever said that to me, truthfully. I mean, I was told, how, I like Sal was easy. It would just say, yeah, do that. Like, you know what I mean? He's like that fucking, it's like telling Gary the retard to lick a wall. So we would, yeah, you can go to Howard. You know what I mean? Nobody was going to go out to Howard. It was respecting more. You know what I mean? It was like, we knew, you knew. I mean, we roasted him, it would have came down to it. But, you don't want to go after his kids. You don't want to go after his ex-wife. I mean, that would be, it's like a slap in your face. You know what I mean? So, like, I never really went after Howard that badly. Even when I roasted Howard at the beginning, I don't really think it was that evil, but it was funny stuff. But, it wasn't deep, But, like, you can convince some people to go deep on people. And, I wouldn't, because I liked everybody, truthfully. I mean, I love Robin. I can honestly say that I loved everybody up there. They may not answer that way now because of the way everything ended, I mean, me and Gary had some arguments over, I talked to Gary. Gary was the one person that was the one you always dealt with, you know what I mean? So, if I had an agreement or if somebody else had a disagreement, didn't have the balls, they'd come to me. I would talk to Gary. So, yeah, I come off like a pain in the ass, but I'm trying to, help other people out. You know what I mean? So it looks like I come off, oh, he's a pain in the ass. He kind of tells me what to do. But then you have other people crying to me, and that's what you do. You think you have people you grew up with, but then you realize you don't.
Yeah. my other favorite thing that you did on the show, and it wasn't really for the show, and I was wondering, did Artie, was he playing a prank on you when he asked to read his audiobook? Because when they played it back and you had those issues reading his chapter, your nose with your head, hold on, your nose.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't know. I really think Artie's just lazy, truthfully. But when it came down to it, like Howard probably said to him, which I think he did, how is he going to do this? Because he really can't. I don't look at things. I can talk a great game, but to read a good game, no, that's not my thing. You know what I mean? And I think Howard said to him, he's not going to be able to do it. And I started getting the hype before. So what they got, they not only had a producer with me, they had a second grade teacher telling me how to basically say the words to make it sound normal. And I had no idea at that time. And it was work. And when I got a word, when I got something, I got really excited. And they were looking at me like I was retarded. But it's like, to me, I'm not, a school person. I'm more of a street person. And that's okay because it worked out. But the whole thing is that me and the wife heard that tape probably 6 months ago, the outtakes from that. And we laughed so hard. We laughed so hard at the outtakes from me reading Artie's book. And it was the funniest thing. And I'm like, then you look at it and you go, that show was amazing back then. And when you listen to the bits, oh my God, the Crystal Clear interview, oh my God, that you never heard from because the guy threatened to kill everybody, our boyfriend. You never heard that more than one time on the show. Never made a replay. You thought I was going to kill everyone. That group meant it.
So that's the most fun time, right? I mean, when you think back at your career, those times being part of that show, those 10, 12 years, whatever it was, you have to think of those as probably, prime years and just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I was doing Kid Chris at the same time, so both of them, like, those are the two best shows. And, both of them were hilarious in different ways. Kid Chris was more like wrestling, fucking bad guy, good guy, fighting, boom, 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 shit would break out. People would come to your house when you get mad, you're sitting by the pool, I throw their phone in the water, you know what I mean? Like crazy shit happened. But Howard is a different thing. It was the biggest show. It was so huge at that time. I walked in 2002, right after Artie. I just felt so comfortable after a short time, and it just grew from there. I was able to write bits. When Artie pissed me off that one time, right? He pissed me off really bad one time. And I came up with a bit. And I was saying, I remember writing on Stern Fan Network, I'm going to get Artie back. And then Howard said, oh, Levy wrote this. I came up with a bit where I was going to bring in a fucking girl that likes dating fat guys. And that was the biggest explosion I never thought it would get that big, and they were like, "Yes, we're doing it." I hit up a girl to fucking come there who liked big guys. She did like big guys. It blew up. He fucking turned on Howard. He started calling. He was
the bro fight. Yeah, you're not my bro.
No, that's when, the bro thing all started from that. And I'm sitting at home going, what did I just fucking do? I swear to God, I was like, oh my God, no, please don't walk off. Please don't quit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know, I never thought it would be like that. I knew it would be bad because I know Artie and I know how to get to him. And, but I never thought it would be like both of them yelling at each other. And then like Howard putting on callers and then just calling Artie a big pussy. And it got like really fucking brutal. But, but that's what the show was, man. You couldn't go in there. You couldn't go in there if you were a little bit soft. If they knew you were soft about anything, that's what people went for. It's not about, it doesn't matter that you guys are friends. It didn't matter. It's like if they knew you had a weak spot, oh my God, they would go after it over and over. Then that's what you do.
When was the last time you talked to Artie, by the way? Has it been, I know he's been off the grid, but do you remember the last time and how it went?
Oh, we just texted, you know what I mean? We texted, with the same thing. You're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah, I love you. I love you. We always say we're like brothers. But, I just don't know. I don't know what was going on, I don't know. It got to the end. We were doing shows before the last time. And that's when I realized that, man, he fucked up, and I was trying anything to get him to just stop doing this because he wasn't doing comedy for the reasons that, he kind of told me. And it was just fucking, it just got to the point where it was like he was addicted so much that if he didn't do it, he couldn't function.
Was this year you're talking about? Like this earlier this year?
No, it was before
okay.
That. It was the time before the time before he got the drug court. You understand? Because he was a mess for a while, and I was like, I did everything to fucking, had him and saying shit to me like, if he wasn't on drugs, I'd probably kill him. You understand? But I tried so hard to get him to understand, and we had good times during it, but it was like it got ugly a lot of times because that's what drugs do to you. I'm telling you, it's like, here's the biggest thing to know that you have a drug problem. When it starts affecting other people, that's when that's the only time you have to catch it right then. As soon as it starts affecting other people in your life, that's when you have to catch it and get help and get out of that. Otherwise, it's just it's a spiral thing that it's going to keep going. And there's a lot of bad people that don't give about him, and they just want to hang out with him. And it's really sad, it's really sad. And, they're like, oh my God, Artie's my best. I go, listen, Artie's not your best friend. Okay. I know why Artie's your friend now. Okay. So don't go fucking telling everyone, you're hanging out with me. He's my best friend. He's not. But I think he really got his shit together. You know what I mean? I think he's going to come out of this. He's going to come out of this strong. He might come out of this weighing a lot more than he was when he went in. And that, what? But that's a good sign. You understand?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody has shit they're addicted to. Some people have many addictions. He's one of those people. He has many addictions, whether it's gambling, drugs, drinking, food. You understand? So the worst thing it can be is he gains weight. That's a great sign. And then that's something he can work with. But I really think that, for him to be away, months, I guess it's been 6 months, I guess, since I've texted with him, maybe 8 months, but he was gone. When he was gone, he was gone. I texted him before that. People ask me, where is he? I go, I don't know. What do you want from me? What am I, mom? You know what I mean? Go ask his mom. I don't know, but hopefully he's doing well. That's the only thing I can say. I really think that he is, because otherwise you would have heard, like I said.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you're doing well too. So, anything else we wanted? I'm going to wrap up, but is there? Everything seems like it's going well. Hopefully, 2021 you'll be on the road. But one more time, let people know how they can catch you. I caught you on Instagram. You're on Twitter. You can find you everywhere. But what are you going to be up to in the next couple months?
Basically, I'm getting my neck surgery. I was in a car accident a little while, 3 years ago, and finally all the building me again. And the final thing is the neck surgery, November 19th. I have to heal from that, and then I go from there. You know what I mean? I start a new life, start a new chapter. That's what it is. It doesn't matter if something knocks you down. You have to come back and start all over. I've done it many times in my life. You know what I mean? And you just keep doing it, and it's okay.
Well, you look good, and again, I appreciate you joining me here today. This was fun. Appreciate it. We'll keep in touch. Hopefully do this again, and we'll see what's going on in 2021. That's the Reverend Bob Levy, the Reverend, my Reverend, and I appreciate him joining me here. Here's the pitch. Again, sponsored by Masses Restaurants. 5 locations. STLmasses.com is the website. Go there. Check them out if you're coming through St. Louis. We'll see you next time.